Hello everyone, welcome to my channel again. Today I'm going to share with you one of the projects I have worked and got some satisfactory results. Basically this project can be implemented for many user cases. For example, if you want to get multiple PDF from the website and summarize the data and get some insights from it. So basically, this data I'm going to access is the Bank of Italy anti-money laundering sanction data I got from the Bank of Italy website, and I'm going to use this code, the code I write with GPT, to actually, first of all, to save the PDF information to a CSV file. Of course, you can choose to save to CSV or JSON. It's up to you. And I'm going to process this data, get some numerical insights from the data. Because usually, if you want to clean up the data, it will take many mundane process. So I wanted to do the text searching, but eventually I think maybe the local LLM is faster and more straightforward. Then you can see here in the first version, I did first of all the analysis without date because I forgot one of the important components of the data is to understand which date one entity is sanctioned. So later I did another round of the coding and with date. Okay, so just to let you know, because the first attempt to try these codes, I always miss something. So I will add that missing piece to the next part. The final part is called option of text searching. I'm saving this as a placeholder, so in the future I can compare the text searching with the LLM model to compare which one is better. However, at this moment, I think because my coding background is not so solid, so if I'm going to implement a very robust text searching algorithm to find patterns, it will take a lot of time. So today I'm going to go over the project with you. Okay, let's check the code. First of all, I'm going to get the data from this website. Basically, if you go to this web page, you are going to see there are some introduction and also a list of the PDF, all the links you can download. Okay, so basically in this part of the code, I'm going to use some, I think this is a traditional way to scrap the information from the website. And these I have done 2 or 3 iterations with GPT and also modify some of the components to make sure it works. And of course, I have also some of the manual adjustments. For example, like here, the pages of the website. I assume it has 19 pages. Okay, but this one usually I would recommend to check the HTML file, check the website to understand which is the range, because making it too small or too large does not make sense and also can intrigue some of the errors of the code. In the end, this code will actually make sure all the information is properly stored in the CSV file. I'm going to show you quickly the CSV file is like this. Okay, usually it has the URL, it has also the text information from the PDF, and this will be the base for us to process. So then let's come here. Okay, so here actually I'm implementing the local LLM. I did download some of the LLM models to my LLM studio in local environment, so I can use this code to access that model. And more precisely, this will do the feeding of the information to the model and get a response. So I think the most important part is about, first of all, set the local server address, and then extract the sanction information based on this part, this function. So basically, this function is going to intrigue this chat mode with with the model. Okay, so I have my prompt information here to get concise, structured information, and okay, I also said the maximum token is 200 because I don't want it to be too long. Sometimes if you don't set a limit, the model will go on forever and cost a lot of compute. And you are going to wait a lot of time. So, and then here, this is a part of the function that actually gets precisely this information. Okay, so after running it, we can see here. Here is a data frame which we have. We have partially the information. So what's the problem of it? If you expand the text content, yes, you can get the text content. You can understand it's a very long document. The sanction information, well, it can get some of the information, but it is not well structured. So you cannot easily process in the next step. So in order to separate the sanction info, I need to do more work. So in the next part, I repeat. Okay, I repeat all the algorithm. Actually, I make sure of course, I work with GPT to refine this part of the code to actually make sure it will separate the information to the data frame with separate column. Yeah, you can see here. Yes, we have separated them to sanction entity, amount, and also the reason. Of course, you can see here there are not many, not 100% accurate because you can see here some empty space and some zero amount. So there are some potential problems about the quality of the extraction or the data cleaning. Okay, but at least at this step, we can get the different column and we can further refine based on it. If you want to check any detail of the code, please pause. Then I actually did the refine and also add the data in the next step. So here, I actually copy the output of the code to GPT to actually let it understand what are the tasks I need to do, especially about the data cleaning. For example, the amount number, most of them are not regular. For example, the punctuation, like the separator of the thousand number, 30, in Europe and in USA and in China are totally different. So I iterate several steps to get this part of the function to let the code to clean the data. And I refined my prompt. You can see now my prompt is very well structured, much better than the previous one. Previous one is just one sentence to ask it to get concise information and so on. But now I have different bullet points to let the LLM to get me these information. And about the maximum token, because as a rule of thumb, I tested and tried and saw the maximum token should not surpass 100. So this will speed up my processing time. Okay, so in the process text data part, of course, I iterate several times with GPT to actually make it more robust, because during the testing, this kind of code actually take a lot of time to get the right information you want. So after doing all these improvements, we can see the result. You can see it's much better because at least you see, okay, at the first, let me show you. First, this is showing that the information is passed, which information is passed to the local LLM, and there are some ID, blah blah blah, different information about this instance, and then this is the extracted information, and I think it's a pretty good. Okay, this you can in this way you can check the process. Of course, in your LM Studio, you can always check the real-time processing of this data. So I'm just going to save your time because how to set up the LM Studio is quite easy. You just open it, choose a model, open the server, then you can use your code here to link to the local LM Studio. So these information are passed to the system and get feedback. But you can see here, like this one, the model is hallucinating. Okay, so after passing the text data to get the feedback, okay, and also more structured data feedback, in the end, we have, we have a very structured data frame. And you can see just from the displayed part, you can see the accuracy improves a lot. And I make a note. It took about 24 seconds for processing 10 records because at first I actually limit the page searching to one page of the Bank of Italy website. So more or less it got 10 records. And I used this stable code instructor 3B model, and it took 24 seconds. My suggestion is to always choose a lightweight model to quickly test your code and try other models, because I believe most of the listeners do not have a very big machine. So our resource is limited. So let's see how I get the dynamic scatter plot. For this code, I mean GPT can generate like a super fast and very accurate. I think from here I can see a different entity. You can also see the size of the circle to show the amount is quite okay. I think it's very useful for the data visualization. But you can see here some entities have very lousy code. Is not accurate. And you can also see some of the sentence. Let me try to check some to you. For example, like this one, because of some of the sanction is to person. So if I want to see like the aggregation or to an entity, this data has some noises. Like I do not want to see how much one single person is fined, is penalized. So this just to show you there are some limitations at this point. Then I choose different visualization. You can see that the package I used is Plotly. It's very useful, and you can see all the data, and of course you can zoom in and zoom out. So I also did the yearly trend data. Yeah, it's okay. So basically, I think by here I already finished the first version. The reason I do not focus on the different visualization part is because the package is standard. You can try anytime you want. Yeah, but from here you can see some of the entity name is very strange. Like this one, I believe it is not complete, or it may even be error. So how do I get to the next step? The next step, I wanted to try a different model. So, and also I try to save the data to JSON file. I did save to JSON file, but I do not find any particular advantage. So eventually I switch back to save to CSV. Okay, the CSV is like before. And in this version, this part is the same. Yeah, until here, yeah. So the same as before. The improvement is in this part. First of all, I get more structured prompts. And you see here, let's see this one. I believe I have done some improvements. Like here, my prompt is about this big. And here more robust, I think. Because now I want to assign a category. Because I want to see, because I know the reason can be 20 words, very complex, or very scattered. Now I want to summarize them in a more compact way, especially in the data visualization. So I tried this and also the category of reason, one keyword, to put it in the model. And also I changed this model to Mistral 7B. It is a test for this model. And the rest of the code almost the same, but I add some more columns. Okay, to process. Like I said, every time when I first try the model, I try only 10 records or one page of the website. Okay, so I get a lot of response and also the results from the local model. Eventually, you can see the quality in general is similar, but later in the visualization, you are going to see there's no error code about error information about entity name. That is improvement. And you can see now the sanction reason. Let's try to check also the sanction reason. The sanction reason in the previous one, you see is not very organized. But here, you can see it is more structured, the response, like the violation to what and the failure to what. Okay, and category of the reason. Yeah, it's not perfect, but it can already summarize to a more compact way for me to understand which is a category. So reason is a long paragraph, but category is much shorter. I would expect to summarize only to one word, but believe me, I tried, but the result is not so good. Because sometimes even one word, it can use a separate dot or slash. So eventually it's not just one word. So if we want to refine the categorization, it needs more time and more design of the code. So yeah, now I have the new categorical stack. Let's see what it shows. Yeah, I think it's much better. Okay, so I have these different categories. It's not perfect. We can still work on it. But at this part, I think we can have a more compact one because, for example, like here, in here, this is April 2022. The most find reason is for transparency and cleanliness. I think you can get the insight from this data visualization. And I also tried to group by the first word of the category because I think this is too many words. I want to see more compact version. Yes, just by reorganize the data frame, show it in the graph. You can get it. For example, like let's say anti-money laundering and transparency. I think sometimes if you only see just one keyword, this categorization could mean something for your operational needs and for your understanding. Okay, dynamic scatter plot is like before, but I changed the layout of the graph. But you can see here, let me quick run through. You see these names are all company names. At least from what we see, there is no very obvious error code or individual name. So this is a huge improvement. But as I said, if we needed to actually detail in very detail to compare both process, different ways, different models, different results, we need a very detailed descriptive data. But at this point, I think this project already gets some very useful insights. So if I would like to choose to improve, I will improve on this version and use the Mistral 7B model. And you can see here the monthly trend is like before. Yeah. And also the yearly trend. Yeah. One thing I want to share with you is that during the trial of this code of the graph, sometimes the system does not organize the data in a sequential way. You need to pay attention to it. If that happens, just check the code and make sure that you see sort some functions to sort, to group based on your need or user case. Okay, I wish this video is useful. Uh, Today I do not run it with the local LLM Studio, but if you want to see the real-time processing, I'm going to make another video to explain. I wish this is useful for you, at least to let you know with ChatGPT and also VS Code and also LM Studio in local environments, you can already build some very useful project based on the publicly available data for you to get data insight and better visualize the data. Of course, based on this, you can implement many algorithms to do the prediction, to the regression, and so on. Wish you had a fun time, and see you next time. Bye bye.